when I found out about this, I was overjoyed, you know, but, you know, it's not, this is like the only opportunity I've ever had in 8 years of incarceration. This is the first time I've heard about anything like this in any city, anywhere, you know, because you meet a lot of people.
Let me just ask you, you know, you were talking about finding a place like this. When you got out from prison, did you have the option to go some other places? And why is a place like this important for the Muslim to seek out? You know, even though they're few and far between, why is it important to try to come to a place like this, or to the Muslim community in general, when you get out?
Yes, I had the opportunity to go home. I had the opportunity to possibly go to some kind of a halfway house or something like that. Or like I said, just go home to my family. But I feel that being Muslim, and I know that Muslims need to stick together. Muslims need to be around Muslims. You know, whoever you are around, whoever your companions are, then that's who you are. So you know, if I want to be Muslim, then I need to make my companions, all of my friends, all of my associates, as much as I can, Muslim. And opportunity to come to a place like this is enormous, you know, because it's all Islam. You know, every aspect of being here. You know.
Now, if you went like to an ordinary halfway house, do they have like some rules and restrictions that would make it more difficult for you to practice Islam in that place?
Oh yeah, because a regular halfway house is, you know, is just a relaxed penitentiary, you know, so to speak. I mean, you get a little, you know, you little freedom, you know, a little more freedom than in the penitentiary, but you know, it has its rules. It has, you know, its schedule, you know, and everything has to be done this and this and this way and this way and this way, and you run the risk of, you know, maybe perhaps performing the salat or getting upset because you can't go to Juma on Friday, and running the risk of going back to the penitentiary before you even really made it home, you know. And being here, you know that everything that you need to do that's required of you Islamically will be done, you know.
So right now you're not really like totally free.
Well, yeah, now I am. Yes,
okay,
yes. Alhamdulillah, yes. Being here, I'm totally free.
Okay,
you know, I'm just able to be in a house around Muslims, you know, and be able to be comfortable and practice, you know, my deen, practice Islam, you know.
So let me ask you, we talked about before people having a plan. Akhi, what's your plan to make sure you never wind up back in the penitentiary and try to be the best Muslim you can be?
My plan is to do everything I can do to stay around Muslims, to stay in the company of good Muslims. My plan is to live up to my responsibilities, you know, as a Muslim. And that is, when I say that, I mean everything that is obligatory for me to do, then I'm going to try and stick to that. You know, I'm going to try and keep the balance. These are the things that I was planning before I came home, you know. This is the talk that I had with myself. I'm going to try and keep the balance, you know, the balance between Islam and dunya, you know, so to speak, you know. I have to work and I have to understand, so that means I'm going to have to make up prayers sometimes. I'm going to have to do these things. I'm not going to go over the edge. I'm not going to be too extreme. I'm not going to be too lenient, but I have to have a balance. And this is what the talk that I had. This was in my plan. And my plan is just to keep Allah in remembrance, you know, just keep Allah's name on my tongue. You know, and that is what helps me every day that I wake up, you know, I thank Allah, you know, I perform the salat, and during the day when it gets tough and it gets rough and I'm tired, I've been painting for hours and I'm tired, you know, instead of saying, you know, which I may have back in the day, man, I need a beer. Now I'm saying, man, I need to make salat, you know, because I got to rejuvenate, you know, and that's how I, you know, that's what my focus is. That's how I focus now. You know, I focus on doing things that are pleasing to Allah.
But let me ask you also, I'm not going to say it's a responsibility of the community, because any Muslim should be responsible for his own Islam. The people getting out of prison should try to seek out the places where they'll be closer to the Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
But for the Muslim society in general, what are some of the things they can do to kind of help the brothers transition when they're coming from the Islam in the prisons to Islam, I say, in the real world?
Mm-hmm. The best thing that I can say that the community could do is to open up houses like the Hijra House.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a great need for brothers getting out of the system for something, an opportunity like this.
Mm-hmm.
When we see the brothers come into the masjid, and you know they may know someone, they may not, but we know, you know, that they may be just coming home. You have a look about you, or
Mm-hmm.
you know, even if you're not, and it's someone new in the masjid on Friday Juma, or you know something, greet the brother. You know,
Mm-hmm.
talk to the brother, because a lot of times I'll find that I'll go in the masjid, because sometimes I'll go to different masjids,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, we'll Assalamu alaikum, but you know, extend the greetings to one another, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's as far as it go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, talk. You know,
Right.
communicate. You know, let's communicate. You know,
Mhm.
that's how I got my job.
Right.
Networking with the Muslims talking to one another.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we need to talk more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes I feel that, you know, some Muslims that aren't from America, it's harder to talk to them. And I'm not saying the language barrier.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, we just have to embrace one another.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have to put down any stereotypes or anything like that. And if La ilaha illallah Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu, then you're Muslim.
Right.
You know, I need to embrace you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love you fi sabilillah. You know, and we say that these things roll off our tongues very, very easily. But when we're in the masjid, or we see the brother walking down the street with the kufi on,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you know that you're Muslim, and you don't greet the brother, or you look to the side, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you know, how is he gonna, you know, you're right. Everyone is responsible for their own Islam, but everyone needs somebody, you know.
Right.
You know, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that we are community, and if one is sick or one is ailing, then the whole community is ailing.
Right.
You know, so if we have one brother that goes dolim, then everybody should feel that. But if we don't even know each other,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we don't reach out to one another, even if it's just talking and networking, you know, that's what we need.
Right. And before we conclude here, there are some young people, they heard you talking about prison and prison life. And I'm certain a brother like you had time to sit and just to think that if I could say something to the young people to keep them from going through what I went through, what would you say to them?
Man, I've said so many things to these young guys.
Mhm.
What I think the biggest thing, or the most important thing that I'd say to them is that you know, the streets and these things that we chase, you know, these things that we chase aren't real. You know, they don't last. You know, they don't last at all. You know, you only realize that when it's too late. You know, we need to slow down as a people. We need to slow down, you know, and think about what we're doing. You know, really think about what we're doing before we do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just slow down. Everyone needs to just slow down a little bit, you know,
Mm-hmm.
think a little more, you know, use your mind.
Right.
Exercise your mind.
Because like you said, I mean, for those things you're not thinking about, the consequences are something which you couldn't imagine.
Exactly.
You know, in many ways.
In many, many ways.
But let me ask you, Akhiya, I mean, just from your perspective, what do you feel is the future outlook for Islam here in America?
Islam, Islam is growing in America. It's growing, and the more I'm around the Muslims here, and witnessing some of the things that they're trying to do, I think it's going to be, you know, really, really good. You know, it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of things that, you know, that are done. You know, from people like you know, getting the message out, letting people know that, hey, look, you know, Muhammad, what you were thinking about doing, you know, it is something and it's working. You know, lets people know that something is working and it is something that you can do. You know, we don't have to sit home and